You are listening to the Hello Sport podcast.
See, I like our time. I like it there.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
No, I know. But I'd rather replace it.
I'll
put
replace
shelves
it.
there.
Yeah, sure. I'll happily replace it.
I think we do shelf stuff over there, and Toddler's a little scat area.
Yeah, clutter him up. We could also get, like, if Time Crisis doesn't work, like, I'm open to...
Like a buck hunter or something.
Or a Daytona fucking...
Oh, they're too big, dude.
Oh, yeah.
They're huge.
Are they bigger than that?
Yeah, they're way bigger.
Oh,
bro.
are they?
There's a seat and shit and fucking gear sticks and shit.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Guess I'm right? Like, yeah. I know I'm right.
I had a cruise on one the other day with Evie. It was fucking fun.
Or like the ones with the bikes where you're fully
Yeah, or
sitting
the
in
bikes as well.
The bikes, yeah.
What about those old school, like, NBA Jam ones? You get, like, a toggle and some buttons and shit.
You can kind of get some newfangled ones that have a bunch of different ones. They're just like the standard joystick
Like, you can have
buttons.
a fuckload of games on it.
And then there's a lot of different ones on it.
Yeah. Listen. There is like a hierarchy of needs, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to be
A brand new Time Crisis, brand new, not exactly like new Time Crisis.
But if anyone wants an old Time Crisis that half works and we can sign it.
Yeah, we'll sign it, which is obviously going to bump the price up.
And you have to organise getting it out of here.
Oh, no, we don't.
Well, it's pick up only.
Yeah, we don't lift a finger.
Pick up only.
But if you've got a brand spanking new Time Crisis, then...
I can promise you right now, it's pick up only.
Welcome back to the Hello Sport podcast. Home of unqualified opinion and unwavering bias.
Just a Monday morning vent.
Just a Monday morning vent to kick things off before the show even started. We're constantly looking to improve our space. The Time Crisis isn't working anymore. We got a good workout when it was working, but it only would ever work for about 7 hours at a time before our useless fucking technician would come in and not fix it and then disappear for a couple of months. I'm looking for new parts. It's been 2 months, guy. Anyway.
3 months, 4 months.
Well, yeah, exactly, and the rest. But we are here. Monday, January 23rd. Evie Rose's birthday today. She's 3. I almost forgot it.
Happy birthday.
As in, not almost forgot it, I remembered it, but generally speaking, when it comes to the date, I should probably get that one right. 3. I got a 3-year-old.
Wig out.
Wig out.
3's that's pretty old.
Mate, comes around quick. Have you ever seen that Jordan Peterson video on Instagram? And maybe that's my algorithm talking, but it's like him. Obviously, he's crying because when he talks, he gets quite emotional.
He'd be right up there in terms of like
cries
per minute,
public cries,
or cries per day, really.
But it's him talking about
CPDs,
children, and that like you've got 4 years with them when they're in the carefree mind frame of a child whose, beliefs and expectations aren't weighed down with like an understanding of numbers and of reality. You know what I mean? Because once reality,
been corrupted.
Once reality hits you, and once you like have an idea of numbers and time, life becomes very lame.
Well,
compared to what they're experiencing,
right? Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like Evie's like, she doesn't want to go to bed, and it's like, please just give me 10 more minutes. And I go, no, Evie. She goes, all right. Well, no, she goes, just give me 2 more minutes. And I go, no, Evie. No. And she goes, okay, fine. 10 more minutes. And I'm like, the freedom to just have no fucking idea what you're talking about, to not know what minutes are.
Yeah.
But once you do, life just becomes a little bit more constrained. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if that's like, if it kills your imagination a little bit.
Time.
Well, the understanding of time and the understanding of reality and the understanding of like possibilities kills off your imagination. I remember being young and being able to be like fully immersed in like a bush and think that I'm in a magical land.
What really kills imagination, I think, using a mark, like a line in the sand, is when you find out that Saint Nick, all bullshit.
Yeah, or wrestling, or both.
Well, wrestling was like, that's not magical though.
Fucking, you ever watch Royal Rumble, bro?
But you know what I mean? Like
it was kind of magical.
It's not a fat guy coming down a fucking chimney.
No, but it was. No, it's not that.
That's humans that you just think that they're actually fucking trying.
Yeah, but they're also playing
completely different.
Yeah, it is, but it's also like, it's innocence. Your innocence is baked into the belief. So it's not the exact same in terms of magic stuff, but it is kind of Hulk Hogan was like magic when you were a kid. Like he was amazing.
There's an innocence to it.
Yes.
There is an
I
innocence
don't know if I'm the first person.
How
to
late were you?
describe
Were you like
Hulk
8?
Hogan as like magic?
Were you
but,
16? You're
yeah,
pretty
17,
old, weren't you?
17. I'd lost my virginity before I knew that wrestling was fake. I was probably like 10 or like 9. I think my sister dropped it on me when we were at the fucking dinner table. Rattled me. Fuck the dinner, I can tell you that much.
Did you cry?
I might have. I don't know if I did or not. But I was like, shut up. It's like, it's fake. I'm like, no, it's not. I've like just been glued to like these old fucking, you know. The Undertaker come back from the dead's magic. I don't know what you're talking about.
When was Sebo of a similar age?
I don't know whether Sebo probably found out before, like it wasn't necessarily a joint experience. I may not have known him when he found out or vice versa. I'm not sure. Anyway, I got a 3-year-old and at least she still has an imagination.
For now. 3's pretty fucking wild.
3's a lot, dude.
3's gone like that.
Yeah, it has.
In a big way.
I mean, that's what's funny about this podcast is there's people listening about, like, I remember it'll be somewhere as well, like when I found out that we were pregnant with Evie, it'll be on video somewhere because it was when we used to record at Batuta and it was in between a segment and I just like, we're both sitting there and I just go, Steph's pregnant. And you're like, oh. And I was like, I remember at the time going, fuck, I should really clip that up. That's funny, like just to save it. Never did, obviously, but
Have we still got that footage? We'll do.
we should do, yeah, Tobler.
We'd
just be able to work out around the dates.
Well, it wouldn't be too hard to work it out.
2019, May-ish.
Because you were first to market, so like it was like as opposed to like, oh, congrats.
Yeah, exactly. Which we were talking about the other day as well. When you're first to market, it is like, oh, fuck, dude. Not only like it's a congrats, but you don't say congrats until you know. Like,
I didn't say congratulations.
No, you go.
First.
You go. Oh, how are you feeling about that? That's good. Is that good? Yeah. We're gonna keep. Is
that good?
Great.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, because there could be 2 different conversations.
Very different.
Potentially
Yeah.
have.
And then you move on, and as you say, everyone starts having them, and then now it's like, sorry, no one gives a shit.
No one cares really anymore. Like, obviously you do for like people that you're really close with, but of other people, just like,
Well, that's it, right? Like, if you had a friend who I knew but I'm not super tight with, and you're like, oh, this person's having a kid, I'm like, cool.
You know? And then, like, everyone's got them, and no one's kid's cool or important.
No.
You know?
Except mine.
Because
except your own.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more about except your own. No one's kids are cool except your own. No disrespect to all the kids I know, who I do love, but...
Well, it's just that, it's funny because... When, like, you in particular had Evie, you're like, holy fuck, like, kids are like, wow, again. You almost
appreciate.
It's almost like there's, like, not many kids around, right? Like, in the world. And then you reach a point where you're like, oh, their kids are they're a dime a dozen.
Well, yeah, I think it's like...
You know what I mean?
No, it's like when you're young, you're around kids and you're around young people and you're around people with siblings who are young or whatever, like... And then you go through like maybe your late teens and your 20s where it's like, I'm not around any fucking kids.
I was saying to Elsa like in our mid-20s, like mid-ish 20s, late 20s, 26, 27, being like, I don't feel like I've seen a kid in years.
No.
Like, I don't think that, where are they?
Is it like a children of men sort
You're
of shit?
just like, you
just
sort of
stop
just,
having them?
I think you just stop fucking noticing them.
No interest at all. They're starting to come back into the periphery a little bit more.
Oh, they're working. They're working at the moment.
It's like when you get a car, and then you see that car everywhere, because you're looking for it.
It's just slightly different, but it is similar in that I'm not looking for children. I just now
You have one, and
I
so
got
you
two of
notice them.
I got heaps.
Well, you don't have heaps. You've got a couple.
I got 1,000.
You've got two.
I got 2.
For those fucking
those
that didn't know.
Those just joining.
Which up at fucking first light, ripping and tearing? Like,
Mate, it actually wasn't too bad. We all went to bed last night. Obviously,
did you? You all went to bed.
I needed an early night.
Right. Okay.
I needed an early night last night. We can talk about it in a moment. But so then it was a nice sleep. I probably got 9 till 7.
9 till 7. I had a nap yesterday afternoon.
Oh, I had a nap as soon as I got home.
Mate, I fell into such a deep sleep. Ella had gone out to walk the dog, and she's like, so you coming? I'm like, no.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I've got Harry Potter 4 Goblet of Fire on. It's raining. It's drizzling.
Oh, dude.
It's zero chance, sweetheart. Zero chance. And she goes, oh, okay, I don't have a key. I'll knock when I get back. I literally came to, and I'd fucking walked down the stairs and was like opening the door when I sort of realized what I was doing. She'd been knocking on the door for like fucking 10 minutes, 50 missed calls and shit. Like I was that out of it. I didn't even really, I'd autopiloted it downstairs.
And then you kept like realize what you're doing. That was like when I did my cheeseburger feat, which was like last year. And then I came home so like crashing from the amount of shit I'd eaten and put in my body. Deepest sleep of all time. I woke up. I'd been asleep for like maybe an hour and a half. I thought it was the next morning. Like I'd gone for an afternoon nap and I'd woken up and thought, holy shit, I've slept for like 15 hours.
Yeah.
Yesterday was more, I got home and I just said hello to my family and went, Daddy needs to lay down right now. And so I just crawled into fucking bed, slept for probably 2 hours, ordered a pizza.
Nice.
Yeah, it was all right. Probably a bit too spicy upon reflection 24 hours after consuming it. But
sure,
that is what it is.
Thanks for that insight.
I'm just saying.
No, appreciate
I had to
insight.
have it. So Eddy and I, we went to Bowral on Saturday because we're groomsmen for Hamish's wedding.
Yep. The great and
Streety.
powerful Hamish Street.
So we went down and were groomsmen for a day.
Is that correct?
Well, we went
Probably
and played-
not.
No.
The groomsmen went and played golf.
It's probably a better way to
I
describe it.
I think that after his wedding, you and I can say we were groomsmen for a day because we weren't actually groomsmen
That's a great
on the
point.
weekend.
It's a good point. Look, I'm still getting back to neutral here, so I'm gonna say some incorrect things.
That's fine. We went down to Kangaroo Valley. We played some golf. Now, did the back go early in the going? Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It went real early. Obviously, I haven't been stretching the hip flexors. Sorry, Josh. I'm going to be back. I'm working on it.
Jeff Athletic, not an ad.
Not an ad for Jeff Athletic, but he's the greatest personal trainer known to man, and I apologise because I know he's going to be disappointed with me that I haven't been stretching the hip flexors, but it is what it is. I'm going to lie about it.
No, don't lie. Back when early.
Back when early.
Eddie and I were in a twosome.
Like, I mean...
Ambrose. So we're relying on each other.
Were we going to win, potentially? Sure, maybe.
We weren't looking bad early.
We looked all right early.
We were getting
Couple of bows, couple of pars. Did we get a bird?
No, we got a couple of birdie looks, but we got some pars.
We did get some pars.
Well, I think we only had one real major blowout hole, although that's probably not true.
The 8.
Yeah.
We only had 1-8, one snowman. Nothing above that.
Don't think so. But they weren't great. There was some good and there was some bad, but I think it was way better than I played at fucking Sebo's thing.
Well, when you play as little as us, you can have a good day comparatively to yourself, or you can have one of the great fucking awful days of all time.
True.
We, Tom and I, it was a beautiful day. It was pretty hot. It was
hot.
It was too hot, like at times.
Which isn't Hamish's fault.
No. And this isn't, and I'm just pointing out, I'm just giving the punter and the dribbler
I just wanted
an
to make
idea.
sure that you weren't having a crack at Streety for the heat of the day.
No, Street not responsible for the heat of the day. It was a little bit hot, but we did have carts.
Thank God.
If we didn't, I would have had a tantrum, but that's fine. It's not my day, so you got to suck it up and get on with it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had a tantrum. You'd have walked, but you should have been pissed off about it internally.
Tom,
Or you and I would have been bitching to each other.
We would have.
Why the fuck we
there would have
walking?
been internal bitchings between you and I, but no one else. We wouldn't have told anyone else. It would have been
No, you don't let
and
it
I.
escape.
I will say this, punters and dribblers. For there's a couple of different categories when it's tough come to like people that play golf. People are either fucking obsessed with it, Seb, Street. There's people that like it, you and I, and there's people that
hate it,
right? For people that like it but don't love it, I reckon that 11 holes is cherry ripe. 10 to 11.
Just like at any point, like if there's like I know golf is an 18-hole sport.
Well, it can be.
Well, like I guess just specifically, more generally.
Well, generally speaking, you buy 9s or 18s.
Yes. I think a 12 is perfect.
Or 11.
11 or 12. But 12 is as much as I would go for the perfect amount of time spent playing golf.
Yes. 12 holes would have been cherry ripe. We played 18. It is what it is.
Well, look, it was still
Hamish's
good.
day.
It was still, 18 was still good. I'm more talking about, generally speaking, moving forward, what we think golf should do. They should at least knock off 6 holes.
I think you should knock off 6 holes if you are There needs
Unless
to be
it's comp.
There needs to just be I like golf. Can I get 12 holes sort of package?
Yeah.
You know, there should be packaged up that way. Well, why is that, sir? Well, listen here. This is why. My body goes, my mind goes, my back goes generally with fucking 6 holes to go, and I'd rather go back to the clubhouse and sink piss.
Yes.
Maybe get a schnitzel with double gravies. You know, that's what I'd like to do with my remaining 6 holes, if that's all right with you.
Yeah. I'll stay at the course and I'll knock a couple back and I'll have a schnitty. And
I'm prepared to spend money with you. If you got a buck hunter, I'm into it. Maybe you got a time crisis I don't know about that I can go work. Maybe got some merch. Maybe I'm buying a bucket hat off you. Okay, you're making the money back. Don't worry about that. But all I want to do is sub out my 6 holes at the end for a bit of a rip and a tip.
Yeah, because I think what's important to know is that if you aren't obsessed, your mind will go probably after the first 5 holes in terms of concentration. Doesn't mean you aren't enjoying it, but like being able to sort of keep it together mentally. And you know, it's like with poker sometimes. Poker's a long game to keep your head in the game for. Sometimes I would reach a point in poker where I'm like, I'm just going to fuck this whole thing off.
Well, with poker, you can't get too drunk because you lose complete and utter concentration. I would say this, punters and dribblers, if I could argue a point. And I'm talking about I'm not talking about comp day where you're a member and you're up at fucking first light cleaning your clubs, you're frothing. I'm not talking about you cunts. I'm talking about the bulk of the population. You can tell. I think it's a great mark that 12 holes is about right, because after that the banter leaves the building a little bit.
Yeah, the voices fall silent.
Yeah, they do. They grow softer, Tom. They grow softer.
Well, it's hard to continue to talk shit when the cold light of day is showing you to be an awful golfer. So I think the earlier you get on, like the earlier you finish, within reason, obviously you don't want to finish after 1 hole, it allows everything to evolve naturally. You got 12 holes of banter, shit talk, abusing one another. You hit 12. Thanks for coming. Now, whatever. It was fun. It was a great day on the course. We hit some fucking pearls. Eddy hit a shot. Tobler inserted here, which actually went behind him.
Hit a tree, went behind me.
I will be posting that today on Instagram.
Did you not put that up?
I forgot, Eddy. It was a big fucking 2 days. I think we all know that. We were looking to splice it with the only footage that was taken of me, which was absolutely crunching a fucking drive. Carly's old man sent it to us. Shout out to Stone Cold Steve. But the quality was awful, and I felt like I was being a bit too much of a content whore. If I'm like, well, could you send me that again? So I was like, fuck it, I'll just put.
Yeah, and look, Stone Cold was enjoying himself.
He's having a good day.
He's of a different vintage. Like, he doesn't want to be trawling through his fucking phone looking for footage.
Ultimately, I knew that I was going to have to take his phone off him to send it, and it was like that. He doesn't need that.
He doesn't need that. And
he's here to just hang out and have a good time.
He is, and also,
I mean,
he doesn't know you well enough to trust you're not going to go fucking looking for things.
What I might start I may not just send the video. I might send some screenshots.
You don't know what he was filming last week. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't. You don't know what that video's saddled up against.
No, exactly. So I felt better. I thought better of it. I thought, let it go. Yes, you hit a good shot, but the only thing that was really funny is going to be Eddy's, because it's disgraceful. And it was more about me just showing off my drive. Well, it was about comparison, really.
It was about comparison.
Tale of two golfers, one who can play and one who is Eddy. But I think
listen. I think on the whole, though, I was better.
No, incorrect. Not at all.
You didn't hit any good shots.
Well, that's a lie. That's not true. I had to basically start fucking playing. Eddy basically stopped playing.
Stop driving.
He was like...
Had to.
Well...
Back was fucked.
I had to basically take every shot, and then it was like, if I'd fucked up, then we'd have to sub him in. And it was like, all right, I'll step up for when it's needed. Unfortunately, delivery was not always there for you, but that's okay. You're injured.
Listen, on the whole, Tom and I get out of 10, 1.5.
Out of 10? Jeez, I think we're better than that.
But if Seb was a 10?
I think if Seb's a 10, we're a 6.
Oh my God. A 6? Sure.
Is Seb a 10? I think that's probably the real question. If Seb's a 10, we're a 6.
I'm saying on the day.
Well, Seb got fucking like 9 over par, so
What we get?
I didn't look. Probably wasn't that. It's probably a bit worse. Anyway, we then went back to Streety's and ripped and teared, which is just nice, dude. It was just lovely.
The only bad thing I'll say about it is it went too quick.
Well, that's the problem.
It
right?
went too quick.
I find that
I was
whenever
having
I'm
the
going
time
into
of
it.
my life, and Tom and I, knowing we had to get up early, we had like a job to do.
Well, we had to be professional.
and we're professional, and the clock wasn't on our side.
No.
Like the first time I checked it, it was 11:45, and I was like, "Fuck."
We had to.
I feel like I've been here for a minute,
yeah, it flies.
and it's 11:45.
But whenever I'm going into a weekend that I'm really pumped for, I think I've said this before, like I did with your wedding, I get sad before it even starts because I'm like, it's over already.
You do get sad.
It's over already, dude.
Yeah.
Like you get there, you're excited, and then you're on the drive home, you're hungover, and you're just like, what's the point, man? What's the point? Fucking, it's over. You know? Did I even really experience it?
Well, it's just a memory now.
Which did it happen? Is this all part of the simulation? Like,
But it was good. A good group of gentlemen that you can really get stuck into a dribble with.
Oh, yeah.
Which is exactly what the doctor ordered. Just a good old fashioned dribble.
I like that after 18 holes in the course, we go back to Street's house and he has a chipping green in his parents' backyard that he'd got together, and it was like, you want to go do some chipping? I was like, I've been playing golf all day, Hamish, but yes, I will come and chip with you actually because it's a little more comfortable in terms of a competitive.
Yeah, and that's a good area for chipping.
It's a great area for chipping. It's actually
It's
like
a perfect area for chipping.
Perfect area for chipping. And wouldn't it just so happen that I'm fucking hitting good chips at Street's house, but not on the course?
Good area for chipping.
Mm.
Great night. Thanks to Sarah and Ken for having us.
Yeah, for having us. Very nice. Sat out there and pounded some techie, some cigars around the fire.
Great spot for cigars.
Yeah, it is.
Shout out to cigars.
Shout out
Tom
to
got them.
cigars, Yep.
We paid for them.
We got 'em.
Tom got them.
Yeah.
They were a fucking nice touch, buddy. And shout out to, and you said it to me after you'd had one, but shout out to, it's either country water pressure, but I think more specifically like shower heads that don't give a fuck about saving water.
Yes, but the difference, I think, is city shower heads give out, like on the whole, obviously I don't want to generalize shower heads citywide, but I am going to here. City shower heads have thin pin dick needle like water like holes, so they come out really sharp. Whereas country shower heads are like chubby, fat shower, like rain on you.
I think, and Dior may be able to look this up, and our plumber mates will be able to tell us, I think they put like water-saving things in the fucking where the taps are to fucking limit the flow to the shower head. So you get a dog shit shower head with dog shit flow, and it's done on purpose.
But do you notice the
Whereas out in the
thickness-
country, they go thick pipe, thick head.
Yeah, but the thickness of the water as it hits you, it's fatter than you get in Sydney.
But did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, but that's about the hole. That's the size
but
of the hole.
I think it's both.
Sure,
both
but
issues.
if it's coming out of a thin hole, it's going to come out thin.
Like I think you can.
You can't come out fat of a thin hole.
I think you can change your shower head, but they've already fucked the shower, the press.
Listen, pressure is one thing, and the pressure was great, but the fatness of the rain on you, of the water on you, is a different. That's not pressure.
Like at the Dumbrells, right? They've got a big shower head, big mother, and I always really enjoyed it. But it's not the same as the raw power,
the rawness of a country
raw
shower head.
power of unbridled country fucking water flow.
And now I also think though, and I mean, without knowing the specific Dumbrell shower head, I think I can see it in
The big fucker.
a big silver disc.
Yes.
And it's got thin rain coming out of it.
Yes.
Imagine if you turn that, if you just open those holes up a bit.
Into thickness.
You're getting chubby rain on you.
Yeah, chubby rain.
Like,
Because you want it a bit chubby.
you do. You want it chubby and like just the temperature was good.
That shower head is honest and true.
You can also get some god awful country shower heads though, but it felt like I was in the country. I was looking out verdant green at the window. You know, they're like
It's a beautiful
pastures
place.
and shit.
It's a beautiful place to have a shower.
Yeah, it is.
And the only thing that could ruin it, Tom, is urban encroachment. And let's hope
that doesn't happen and ruins a great shower vista.
Yeah, well, that would be tough. But Eddy and I, we did have to go to bed early and get up early because we're professionals.
We did go to bed early.
We went to bed early. We did. Fucking oath we did, because the last thing you want to do is...
We're professional.
Well, you're professional, but we have responsibilities, right?
But we're also professionals.
We're professional, responsible professionals.
Yep.
So we had to get up at first light.
Birds chirping.
Birds chirp and stuff. Roll into the shower separately, but we did enjoy showers. At least I think I did.
You had a shower, Tom, yeah.
Did you have one?
Yeah.
Good for
I
you.
had mine first.
Yeah, you did.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I do now. It's all coming back to me.
And then I actually was like, I was whilst you were having a shower, I was like, I'm going to go to the car and get a water bottle. Went out, forgot the keys, came back in, got the keys, went out there, put my bag in the car, forgot the water bottle, walked back in, realised I didn't have the water bottle, had to go back 3 trips, get a water bottle. Not the point. Not the point. I was up with the birds, waiting for that alarm to go off, just going, when's that fucking going to go off? And then it just hits you like a fucking ton of bricks. Even though I was waiting for it, it still hit me hard, right between the eyes. Yeah. And then Tom, because we're professional, had set one every 2 minutes for fucking 20 minutes. So, did we listen to all of them? Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. And I also set them the night before as well, like, bedtime now, get up now. I had fucking alarms coming out of my ass. So we got up, showered, in the car, nip into Macca's, obviously, and then get our way up to Sydney to go and interview UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev.
Yep.
Thanks to our good friends at KO. Obviously, that fight is coming up. It's going to be available on Main Event via KO, February 12th. He's fighting Alexander Volkanovski, our Aussie boy, the great, who's obviously, you know, who we're going for, but...
A lot of people going, there's a lot of Eddie Jones about this, us interviewing him. For that to be the case...
As in trader?
Yeah. For that to be the case, we would need to be coaching
We'd need to be coaching him.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Interviewing him, in which we said on several occasions, we're supporting our boy, but it's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, but we're not going for you.
You're not going for you, which is fine. There's a difference between that and coaching him, which is what Eddie Jones did, coached another team. Do you get the...
To be honest, we were actually asking him for advice, which you can find out more when we release it. But it was more about we were maybe getting coached.
He actually he offered.
He offered.
And actually, funnily enough, he offered, Tom, and then he said it again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are you being fair dinkum?
Do you want to...
Because it feels like you want to help us be better.
You might want to help us.
Be better.
But and even in the light of that generosity, we still like, but Volk's our man.
Volk's the man.
But he was cool. He was nice. It was one of those ones as well with his like, it's not super long, but he doesn't give you much, given that he's, not an primarily English speaking.
Well, he's softly spoken
Russian man, Dagestani man. Doesn't
from the mountains.
Yeah, not for English, not the first language. There are a couple of times we had to clarify some questions.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fair.
Let me think about how I can re-explain it.
Yeah. There are a couple of times you I mean, funnily enough, I think it was only you that had to clarify twice, but you did well. There was one where you did it straight away, and I was like, oh, that's exactly how you would explain it straight away, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because if you say a word that's like quite common, at least for first, like English speaking as a first language, and he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, okay. Interesting. Interesting, because I wasn't using like a super descriptive word that you may not have heard of. Like,
no, yeah, exactly. You're not fucking. This isn't like
how can I re-say that without using that word?
Yeah, how do I simplify this? And again, we were fresh and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because we went to bed at the right time,
and we're professional.
But like, there is still a reality that you weren't expecting to have to, break down what seemed to be simple English-speaking terms into more simple English-speaking terms. Yes. So that was quite a pressure for someone who had a full 8 hours sleep, but who, wasn't in their usual. They didn't sleep in their own bed. In fact, they shared a bed with me.
Yes.
So it takes a bit of time to like snap yourself.
Well, listen, it's not the same. Sharing a bed with you is not like sharing a bed
with Ella.
With Ella. Like Tobler knows.
Tobler knows. Toddler's shared a bed with me.
Except Tobler's shared a fold out.
And
Couch.
And he also went to bed not knowing he was sharing a bed with me.
Yeah. And he was also like a week into,
It was shocked.
It was very intimate. Very intimate.
and was so rattled he woke me up. And goes, Tom's in my bed.
And then I woke up being like, oh, I'm in the new guy's bed.
Welcome to Shane Keith.
Yeah, whoops. I'm in the new guy's bed and I don't have a shirt on. Or pants. It was one of the two.
God.
Pants. There was no pants.
Sorry, no pants.
But Islam's he's a sweet kid.
Yeah, and we can say that because we're a couple of years older than him.
Yeah. As I said, kid, I'm like, how much
think-
older than I am?
I think you're like maybe
Well,
one
we're
year.
born in the same year.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sweet guy.
Sweet kid. Yeah, he's also like a world champion with like is also a father and is like
Yeah, but straight kid.
5 million followers on Instagram.
But he's
no,
younger.
No, so- and
Most
he's-
likely.
Well, no, he's 30, so
He's
But
31.
if he's born in 91, so am I.
October 91.
Okay, so I'm older.
Yeah.
So he's a kid.
Are you 32 this year?
On Sunday.
Whoops. Sorry, dude.
It's all right.
For some reason, I felt like your birthday had already been. Like I felt like it was past.
Okay, well, that's even worse.
No, in the sense that I know that you're January, but I
And so if it had already been, that's even worse. It means you wouldn't have said anything to me.
no, I meant like I felt like it was later in the year. Like I'd already
Later in the year, like
we'd already celebrated your
Okay.
birthday.
now you're getting confusing.
I am confused. But happy birthday for Sunday, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm really excited. You got anything planned?
Not really. Lunch on Saturday with a couple of old mates. Ollie and Passer. That's about
Lovely.
it. Ella will do something. We'll do something. Nothing crazy, bruh. Nothing crazy
not
at
for your
32.
32nd?
No.
Not a big fucking
No,
big do for your
no big
32nd?
do. No big do organised for the 32nd.
Sure, mate.
I'm probably going to be like do-less until 40, you know?
Yeah, I'm not huge on dues generally.
You got to do it for 40.
Well, I think you do it for 40, right? Because that's usually when I think, from what I understand, as like adults, you're sort of experiencing a bit of post-child freedom. Your kids ruin your life for a little while. I say that in jest. And then they go to school and it's like, like I think about it now and it's like, once they're at school and it's just back to like working during the day, I don't have to pick them up like daycare sort of shit. It's like, I feel like I'm just going to have way more fucking time on the hands
Well, you'll have like 6 more hours.
a day. But you know,
Because
it's
like school's not like a work day. That's like, you know.
no, but I guess I'm thinking like in the line of work that you and I have,
We've got more freedom.
we'll have a bit more. So like if they're at, like whereas if it was now, it's like I got the day off, say, I've got to, you know, look after them because they're not at school.
Yep.
Whereas once they're at school, it's like, oh, I might just go and sit on the sand. Maybe I'll be way more tanned.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
You've got a bit of a glow. Like,
No, I'm good now. I've got a tan. I can tan punish but don't worry. I know that, you know,
you
some
go
people,
all right. You go okay.
Mate, I go okay. You just got to. If I'm dedicated, which I'm not because that's a weird thing to do. I think at 30.
I'm more, mate. I'm more of a shade guy now. Really, like I'm more like under a tree, under an umbrella. Like I like.
Sorry, I thought you
shade.
meant the shade of your skin.
No, I like shade now.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Like I can lay in the sun. Like I won't lay in the sun for more than like 15 minutes.
nah, that's all you need to
I'm
do.
like pack her up,
I think it's better to
pack her up.
That's why you need one of those cool cabanas, dude. I'm telling you, the beauty of those things, not an ad, though they did give them to us, is that you have the best of both worlds and it just extends your ability to stay at the beach for fucking ever.
Yeah, wood's like taking an umbrella.
Yeah, but I'm way better than an umbrella.
Like you can get me and Ella get under like the umbrella we got very easily.
I'm sure you can.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, but this just gives you. It's like going, would you want a 1-bedroom apartment or do you want a fucking mansion on the beach?
Yeah, but it's more like I get the cool cabanas are great, but they come into your own in your situation.
Certainly, but I think that I would just be like using one.
Too much like admin.
It's not that admin, bro. It's just as admin as a fucking umbrella, I'm telling you.
It doesn't look like it. And so, like when I saw people setting them up at the beach, it certainly didn't appear that it was
The only
as many as
I think that they set up maybe slightly more difficult, obviously, because there's slightly more to it. Only slightly, but what you get out of it makes that little bit of effort worth it. But again, I don't give a fuck. You don't need a cool cabana just because I love a cool cabana. I'm just telling you that your umbrella is shit. respectfully.
Agree to disagree.
Just quickly on
Talk to me.
our chat with Islam yesterday.
Yep.
He was great. It was great. He's a good dude.
Yep.
His shoes rocked me from the start.
They were the first thing I noticed.
They were the first thing I
As
noticed.
soon as he walked in the room, first thing I noticed.
Well, I saw him.
I was drawn to them
I was in the
immediately.
toilet, and then I came out, and he's doing the interview with the Fox UFC guy, and I just see his shoes. It's the first thing I see. Now, listen, you and I, unintentional fashion icons. We don't step out of the house intending to be. That's fair to say.
No, it's not what drives us.
No, but you just are something, you know. Sometimes you just innately are something. And
It's like you are hot.
yes,
You know what I mean? You don't
are
try to be hot. Like
fashion
you are.
icon.
Yep.
You are hot. Your hair is thick and luscious. Like there's not much you can do.
Full of volume.
Full of volume, bounce.
No quit in it.
No quit. Zero quit. You just are. And then you walk into a room and you see, a world champion in some of the ugliest looking shoes you've ever seen. I have to be honest.
Appalling.
They
Tom.
would- and-
Listen, and again, like this isn't a judgment on him.
No.
This is merely I'm going after the shoe here.
Yeah.
The shoe was appalling, and my eye went to it immediately, which is concerning.
Yeah.
And I thought, dear God, where'd you get them? Like, who sells them?
Well, they
Who makes them?
dude, they scream, and I don't know why, but I feel like they scream like Dagestani, just like local shoe store.
Is that the vibe you got?
That's the vibe I got.
I wanted to know, Tom, was he wearing like an anklet?
Ankle sock?
Yes.
Yes, but it was a visible one. If you're going to wear the low ankle socks and have like,
So he was wearing socks. Let
let's
me
double
look.
check. We get it up on the ground. Yeah.
I feel like they were hidden.
No,
Right,
dude, no, there's socks there.
Incorrect?
Unless that's an elasticized piece of the shoe.
Well, Tom, I think it's important that I run an eye over this before I make a call.
I'm not sure if it's an elasticized webbing.
No, that's a webbing.
Is it a webbing?
That's I think that's a webbing.
So then this is now raising another question for me. Because he's also got a cuff.
Because and the
he's
reason
got an elasticized cuff on those pants.
well, he's running double
elastic.
which is bold.
Well, it's fucking huge.
It's
That's
huge.
tough.
The reason I think that it's that's elasticized and it's not a sock, Tom, is that obviously when he was sitting doing the interview with the Fox UFC guy, I was immediately drawn to the ankle.
Yeah.
The ankle
skin was what catches you first, and then you go, oh, there's some skin, there's a shoe.
That's
What's going on?
It's definitely elasticized because of the sort of the tongue comes out, but this guy, if this is a Dagestani make, has gone the elasticity
Yeah.
will allow for a more seamless fit. Like it'll hug the foot more, but also provide slip-on.
It's slip-on technology.
Yeah, that's right.
And it'll also allow for the foot to stretch, like to be a bit,
Yes. The brown on top of the white was a bold choice.
Listen.
Double elastic. Listen.
Now, I mean, look, the man is obviously very successful, and but I don't. I mean, is that real leather on those shoes? Is that a leather, or is that an animal based, or is that synthetic? Is that lino? That looks like it could be just ripped straight off of a lino kitchen floor.
It could have been.
But he's paired it into a brown T-shirt, so I'm still seeing a guy that's at least aware of pairing, of colour matching or colour blocking, whatever the fuck it is.
He's not in bright orange or something, you know what I mean?
No.
Or bright, well, heaven forbid, bright green. But
Is it the equivalent though of a man who doesn't? He's got his eye on the right prize.
are they smart shoe, Tom?
They seem like it now, but if he's not wearing socks, if he takes those bitches off, that's going to stink to high heaven.
Well, eventually it will, because you can wear a pair of loafers, Tom, without socks. But if you get caught outside on a hot day and your feet start to sweat, they're not breathing, and you do that a couple of times in a row, then you've got to throw the shoe out.
Yeah.
Because they won't recover.
They're a stink factory at that point.
They're a stink factory at that point. They won't recover. The way to play your football, your rugby league, Tom, is to wear a toe sock. So they
Anklet.
go
Yeah,
around the
yeah.
toe. No, around the toe. It's not an anklet because that sock goes to your ankle, Tom. It's a toe sock.
You're
Around
right.
the toe, round the base, won't see it.
That's 90% of the socks that I wear. Right now, you got a man who's just wearing white socks, just good old honest white socks. But I'm a toe sock kind of guy. I don't enjoy the sock all that much. I'll wear.
You wear toe socks all the time.
Yeah.
Do ya?
Most of the time, if you're seeing my ankle,
Yep.
kids in toe socks.
Kids in toe socks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't smell. You may know this already. I do know that toe socks do not save smelly feet altogether.
Not altogether. If you've got smelly, look, listen.
They improve it markedly.
Listen,
though.
if you've got smelly feet, like there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Like that's your fucking cross to bear. What I'm saying is, if you wear fucking shoes without socks, it'll fuck them up real quick,
Yeah.
like that.
I'd say smelly feet's probably my biggest pain point in terms of not knowing, because I can't smell. I know that if I put deodorant on, I'm good to go. Put a bit of fucking on me, good to go. You know what I mean? Breath, eat something chewy, good to go. Feet, I'm like, do they stink or are they just a bit hot? Like if I take my shoes off here, is it going to smell? Like it's a much harder to be like, hey, just let me know if my feet reek.
I think all you need to do is just leave your shoes on.
Oh, that's often what I'll do.
The only time you can get caught out is if you go to someone's home where they're like, shoes off at the door, please.
Yeah. That's
You're
annoying.
like, why don't you buy a Dyson?
I think it's less
Save
about
us all the fucking
Well, I
hassle.
think it's less about the Dyson and more about walking in shit from the street into your house. But I'm not saying it's necessarily
Dyson that
coming-
bitch.
But I'm not saying it's necessarily coming off. Like I might step in dried urine outside, and then some of that dried urine is obviously just going to remain on my shoe, dry or not. And I'm going to walk that dried urine particle through your house, for example.
Listen,
That's me just trying to think.
yeah, I know.
I've never lived in a house that's shoes off.
I think it's like they exist.
No, I know they do. I'm saying
They're out there.
Fucking know they are.
They're out there.
What
I'm
I'm-
talking, and there's a difference between saying to your family, shoes off at the door because I can't be fucked to Dyson.
Yes.
And insisting on guests doing it.
Yeah.
Because some guests may be fearful of the fact that their feet stink. Now you've got them in an uncomfortable position.
What's worse?
You're not being a great host. then.
What's worse? Like, a bit of fucking Dyson work having to be done, or someone wafting dank feet through the house.
Wait, it's considerate because now it's awkward.
Yeah,
because
everyone's
I don't
dealing
want to
with
say
it.
anything, but I don't realize you can't smell, so we're sitting here in awkwardness. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But
it's
also,
tense.
but then don't you think as well, like if I walk into a house and I see all the shoes at the door, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to take them off. Like you can't ignore that. That's like it's a sign. It's a subtle sign to the people coming into the building that it's like, take your fucking shoes off. But I'm always like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Listen, if I go in there and the house is brand new, or you got brand new carpet or something, or you've got fucking, I don't know, some cashmere rugs or something that I've got to step on, I can maybe understand it. But if I get in there and I'm like, these floorboards are fucking 8 years old.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing to me?
Just mop when I'm gone.
Vacuum and mop when I'm gone. Mop after me.
Mop after me. Not
Mop
my
up
problem.
after me, not
I
my
don't want
problem.
to take my shoes off.
Anyway, Islam, if you're listening, I'm not going to give away the fucking
Contents of the
content
conversation.
of the conversation, but you know how you offered to help us? I'm offering to help you if you want.
Well, we could do and this is obviously after you lose, but we'll still do it. A bit of a Pretty Woman style shopping
Like,
spree.
what
with
about
Islam.
like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy?
Yeah,
You and I, we've got a bit of a queer eye,
we've
even
got
though
a-
we're not
we're not
that way sexually inclined.
No. Look, not in the Webster's dictionary definition.
But
But
sometimes you could be like, that guy dresses so well, he must be.
he must be. What about the not queer eye for the straight guy? The queerish eye.
the
queerish eye.
The queerish eye for the straight guy.
And we just go into a shopping spree with Islam. He's obviously got to pay for it.
We're not fucking paying.
No, we're not paying. We're just telling him what to get.
Yep. The queerish eye for the straight guy.
Queerish eye for the straight guy with Tom and Eddy. And Islam Makhachev potentially coming soon. Obviously, Rugby League KO Rugby League. We have mentioned KO in regards to our good friend Islam Makhachev as well, but
They get a double dip.
fucking triple quad. KO. But all this RLPA shit going on, I don't entirely know what's happening. There's a lot of people saying, like, there's like old heads who are like, they're being greedy. I'm like, I don't. For some reason, I feel like that's not it. It's about like, there was something that Joe Nullival wrote about. Can you get that up? Which was sort of like, I think after you retire, you've got like a year of NRL covered injury, like surgery shit that you can access.
Yep.
But Nullival was sort of saying like, I have so much fucking, I played, however many games he played in the twos, maybe 300 games, Premiership winner with the Manly Eagles and the Penrith Panthers. He's like, mate, I can't fit all those surgeries in a fucking year. Like this
So
is
how many surgeries did he know?
well, I don't know, but it's like also, what if you have long-term degenerative shit where it's like, oh, I might need a knee replacement in 20 years.
Yes.
But it's purely from playing footy. I played 15 years of NRL, and from the time I stopped playing in 2013 till now, I can honestly say there hasn't been a day that something in my body doesn't hurt. Long-term physical impacts of playing elite rugby league are mostly overlooked and underreported. Physical, psychological, and emotional are interconnected, so the toll of managing pain for some has more severe implications than just getting surgery. 12 months is not sufficient to have the amount of surgeries required by players. I know I'm one of them. And I'm sure for many past players who have given their bodies to the game will benefit from a fund that will help their quality of life. I will always advocate for players' rights, and am proud of our current group who have given voice to concerns that past players didn't have the capacity and unity they have now.
So basically, they're just looking for more things like this.
Just click onto that again, Dave, the Nullivar one. And then just in the comments, what did Vunika say? Could get my hands fixed. That will cause me grief further down the track. Thanks for looking out for us. Right, so that's Alane Vunikese or Keze.
Interesting.
I just wanted to see if there are any other past players talking about like injuries and shit they have. Like, hold on, just go back. What's this guy saying here? I just want to. AR Painting Solutions is just someone who's commented. If you were injured at work, you would be compensated. I don't know why people don't get this. It's not about being greedy. It's fair. Like, I haven't heard enough of like what the NRL's not wanting to give them. It doesn't seem like it's very clear. The players are sort of just saying like, well, this is what we want.
Yeah, well, they're being very vocal about uniting together. I think the NRL tried to make it go away by upping the salary cap.
Yeah. Throw money at it.
And they're like, no, we want more than that. What?
But yeah, it's not just about money. It's
not just about money. It's about, what's their list of demands specifically, Dave? What's the hold up essentially? And what is a potential, like, could this delay football if not rectified? Like, what's the fucking...
It seems like the biggest part of the disagreement is coming in regards to the collective bargaining agreements, which is basically what allows the players to, negotiate and bargain for things like the salary cap and the type of contracts and stuff like that. And it doesn't seem like there has been a proper negotiation process between the NRL and the RLPA. It just seems like the NRL has said, this is it, this is what you're getting. And it's not what the RLPA has accepted. So it says, what do the players want from the CBA? This is from sportingnews.com. While the salary cap for top-tier players seems to be in the right ballpark, there are still some other major issues. And I think so it says the CBA, this is what Kurt Capewell said, the CBA controls a lot more than our salaries. We're looking to get it all done right, and we want a fair revenue share, a fair seat at the table when it comes to discussions, and we want to be heard. It's not about the wage we're getting. It's about setting up a fund for past players, looking after our younger boys and our welfare. Some of our tertiary education stuff in the CBA is not where we want it to be. There are a number of things that they haven't come to the table with in this specific offer. In terms of our share of revenue, it's going backwards compared to where we were in 2018, 2019. Obviously, COVID has hit and we had to do a bit of a shuffled one. Moving forward, our percentage share of revenue and stuff like our private healthcare, they're trying to change where that sits in our contract. Stuff for our lower tier guys, we are trying to get it improved for them. At the moment in the CBA, there's not much injury fund for past players. And he goes to give on the example of Andrew Fafita, who's had to have 8 or 9 surgeries in the last 12 months, where he would much rather stagger those surgeries over 2 or 3 years. But in the current CBA, you've only got 12 months to get your body fixed.
8 or 9 surgeries in 12 months is fucking
because you've got to do them. So
hectic.
that is pretty hectic, that you need to get them out of the way in a year. It's like, mate, especially if something like you do look at someone like Fafita.
But it's also like, it's interesting because surely if you'd spaced them out over 3 years, there's still, it doesn't matter. There's no change in costs to the NRL.
It's a good point. I'm not sure what that would be about. I guess maybe it gives like more time for his body to break down more. So like over those 3 years, something else pops up. Well, it's related to this. It's related to that. Oh, okay. Well, you need to get a fucking hip replacement in 10 years. Well, okay. Well, like,
Surely, but yeah, even if you went in and saw a doctor in a year period and they go, this is what we need to do, like you just get them squared away, but then you just get them.
right. This is the things that have been approved for
Yes.
the next 5-6 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to argue with Curdy Capes of Glory Hole fame when it seems very reasonable to me.
Yeah.
And another thing that's a big change in this agreement is that it's the first time that both male and female players are being kind of included in the same collective bargaining agreement.
Right.
And one of the big things for the female players and a lot of the younger players that might be on like train and trial contracts and not full time is that at training right now, until this is all sorted, I don't think they're covered by insurance. So if they get injured at training right now, where there's no agreement between it and they're not really covered by the insurance that is part of that agreement, they would have to kind of pay out of pocket for that. That's as far as I understand it.
Yeah, I've heard something similar. And then I think as well there was like Marty Tapau of doesn't mind pushing it past fame. He just signed with the Broncos, but then I thought there was a thing of like they couldn't announce signings. Like Matt Lodge is on like $1,000 a week or something with the Roosters. Like they couldn't lodge new contracts until the shit's all sorted. So I thought it was actually like that they couldn't even announce signings. Like that's why Tapau's like, he put something on his Instagram, he's like, I've just been training by myself because I can't go join a club because they can't announce it because the contract shit isn't like the CBA shit.
Oh, so this is really drawn out.
And then now there's talks of further strikes. So the current strike they did was like no promotional shit. So do we think that's like when they go to Fox and Channel 9, they're like dancing in front of cameras and like doing funny stuff? Is that like what that is?
I think so.
Did they eventually cut together with Matty Nable's shit down the track?
Yeah, and I think even just like taking interviews at trainings when the press turn up and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
Because they use those like dancing videos all throughout the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think the reason why it's tough for them to lodge contracts for guys like Tapau and Matt Lodge is because the salary cap figure isn't confirmed yet. So clubs don't want to make a contract if they don't know how much money they're allowed to spend.
They probably can't make a contract without knowing how much they've got to spend,
Yeah.
eh? But then there's the yarn of like striking. One of the players that I spoke to or that we spoke to in our DMs, who will remain nameless, I don't know why, but I just don't know, had indicated that like striking for games was probably unlikely. But now they're saying it isn't. Well, now it's being thrown around in the media, so I don't know if that just means like about trying to put pressure on, or whether it is now likely, whether we're getting, whether it wasn't when we spoke to the guy, it wasn't likely, and now it's become likely. It was never likely. Who the fuck knows?
It's funny because the idea of missing games of rugby league football down here seems fucking unimaginable. But this shit happens in the US all the time.
Well,
They lose half seasons all the time to this sort of shit.
really?
Not all the time. Like fucking, there's like they lose
Well,
maybe every 10 years. They'll lose fucking half a season.
Yeah,
Shout out
the
to the
NHL had a big one in 2012, 2013.
NBA's had one.
Yeah, 119 days after I think it was meant to start.
That'd fucking annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah. Like in the US, it's like, nah, we're not playing, cunt.
And I don't even mean at players. I just mean not having rugby league. But then they're saying,
Imagine we lost 119 glorious days of rugby league
well,
football.
the thing is that we wouldn't. Well, we'd lose the glorious days. But if you to believe what I saw on Clarkie's column on Instagram, which I don't know where he got it from, but get the post, Dave. There's like 160 USA rugby league players who are like on standby, ready to fly over and play in the NRL.
Who's put them on standby?
I think,
PDL.
and I'll confirm it by just seeing
What?
this post, but I think that was an offer from the USA Rugby League
that's them
rather
just
than the
trying to-
NRL
Yeah,
saying we got to there.
But it's just funny how these stories progress, where it's like, oh, the players are they might boycott. Sick. Well, we'll get some fucking USA Rugby League players. Like, well, that's not a good solution.
No, that's the US Rugby League being like, let's throw our hat in the ring. And,
Yeah.
and there'd be a little bit of excitement.
I
over
tell you
it,
what, would
maybe.
be.
But also the US guys, because they're probably trading off the idea that these sort of blockouts happen a lot in the US.
Yeah.
So maybe it's possible, whereas I don't see it happening.
Not down here.
What a fucking shit show.
We just love our rugby league too much, mate. Like rugby league will be the winner at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, if COVID couldn't stop rugby league, you'd have a couple of fucking negotiations. Wouldn't stop them either.
No, you would hope not. PVL known to be quite a shrewd negotiator, though.
Yep, he is.
Like you're up against a pretty.
You're up against a weapon.
You're up against one of the great negotiators in Australia, Tom.
Yeah.
So good luck to all involved.
All and sundry. All the best. But a weapon you're dealing with. 160 USA rugby league players are on notice.
Cool.
Sweet. See, now I read it again. They're on notice probably just from themselves. They've put themselves on notice.
Yes.
Like, no one's actually contacted them. They're just like, we're on notice here, guys.
Yeah. Well, they're in a WhatsApp group. It's called USA Rugby League Players. And someone goes, we're on notice. You're on notice. You could play in Australia.
Tell you what, Replacements
You
was
won't.
a good movie, though.
The Replacements.
Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman.
Haven't seen it.
Fuck off.
Haven't seen it.
Where, like, this thing happens, and then Keanu Reeves is like an old school, like, could have been anything sort of college quarterback who's now, like, living on a boat and fucking angry at the world, and then comes
What,
back.
got an injury?
I can't remember.
Something?
It's a good movie. It's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, it is the Washington Sentinels go on strike, and the team's owner calls former NFL coach Jimmy out of retirement to coach a ragtag team of replacement players to finish the season's games.
And they win? Or they find themselves along the way, I think?
Yeah, well, they just, they're like, the finishing line is, most men dream of a second chance. These men lived it.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
Yep. Great film.
Love that.
So, fuck, maybe we do want the USA players coming down here just to change it up. Probably not, but maybe.
160 players. How many, like, where does that get us? In terms of, we've got 17 teams.
Well, for 30-man squads,
That's
just over
9.4 players a side.
Okay, well then how many, also, no, let's work that out. So how many teams will that fill?
It would fill about 9.5 teams of 17.
No, okay, if 17, how many 30?
Well, fuck the 30s. You don't need 30, mate. You just turn up and play rugby league football.
Well,
We
just
don't need 17.
for injuries and shit.
Nah.
Just over 5.
Okay, so
just
9
over 5.
teams?
You need 19 because 19 because of COVID. What are they?
Yeah,
Concussion.
18th and 19th.
Okay,
man.
Do 19.
Okay.
So almost
We
8.5
get rid of the
teams.
Tigers.
Yep.
We get rid of the Dragons.
Yep.
We
Dolphins
get
can wait another
rid
year.
of... I need Ricky Stewart in the comp. I can't get rid of the Raiders.
Titans.
So how many
Titans,
teams are we allowed?
9.
Or 8, just under 8.5 with 160
Okay, well, maybe we just
players.
pick the 8 sides rather than pick the ones we don't want, and then Manly,
Yep.
Roosters,
Yep.
Storm,
Yep.
Rabbitohs, Eels, Panthers, Sharks.
And the Raiders.
Well, fuck. Broncos,
Nah,
Raiders.
fuck the Broncos.
No, I'm just sort of Cowboys.
Nah. We need the Raiders. We need Ricky.
We do need
I need Ricky in my life.
Okay, Raiders. So, Cowboys, sorry.
No, like you had a fun season last year. Everyone thought you were going to win the spoon, and you went really well. But like, I'm over you now.
Yeah, no,
I've had enough.
You're not a happy story anymore. You're a thorn in our asshole now.
Yeah, you just
So
now you're
Broncos
annoying.
gone, Cowboys gone, Dragons gone, Bulldogs gone, Titans gone. Keep scrolling down. Knights gone, Warriors gone, Tigers gone. That seems like
that seems more
good.
than reasonable.
That makes sense. And obviously that's only in the event of a strike.
Tell you who like. If you have to pick a fucking spoon right now, Tom, for 2023,
Dragons.
it's going to be the Dragons, isn't it?
Yep.
I reckon. I listen, Knights fans. I think you're in the bottom 4 this year, again. Just telling you.
Yep.
Just letting you know.
Yep.
I think you're in the bottom 4 again.
Warriors, I can't
Sorry.
see doing much, but Warriors are a very on again, off again team. You know, they can
They'll probably start pretty well and then
Yeah.
slip down to
1
like 11th,
year
12th.
on, 1 year off. Tigers, I think it's hard to say the Tigers will be spoons again, considering who they've brought in. Titans, they've got Kieran, but look, Kieran's dead to us, so I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans come 13th again. It feels about right for the Titans.
It does. Doggies will move up. Doggies, again, it depends on, how they're halves pairing goes a little bit. Their forwards are pretty good. They got Kickow and they got Reed.
Ninth maybe.
Maybe.
Broncos, I'll slip.
Well, Broncos, they're already slipping.
They're slipping big time. A lot of players coming out, particularly Paddy Carrigan, Tom, talking up Kevy in a big way.
Well,
Adam Reynolds came out and said that he's improved immensely in the off-season.
Okay, and how long did it take for these cunts to come out and say that after fucking Selwyn Cobbo shit all over him? Like, it's been like 3 weeks.
Listen.
It sounds coerced.
It literally sounds to me like it might be like a kidnapping note almost.
Yeah.
I think they've been brought into Red Hill, Tom. I think that the coaching staff, along with the old boys, as soon as they walked in, fucking pumped their fucking shotties.
Yeah, and said,
listen,
we're releasing a podcast of our own.
No, listen, obviously we're owned, a big percentage of us is owned by News Corp. We've got some News Corp journalists here. You will be giving statements against your will about how much you love Kevy in the corner, who's crying and having his back rubbed by Gordy. Ignore him. Just say really nice things to him, and if you don't, you'll lose a finger, and you'll continue to lose fingers until you don't have a career anymore.
But just so you know, those fingers will be removed by this here shotgun, which is sawn off. And so you may lose more than one finger at a time.
Right. So, like, really nice stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think Kevy's got better this offseason?
No, not just better.
No, say that again.
Yeah,
say that again.
Again?
Can we say that again? Oh, you think he's improved incredibly in the offseason?
Incredibly? Have we got it even better? Can you say, is that immense? What about immensely? Have you ever said that word before?
Can we say a different word? What word can we say?
Can we find some synonyms for positive shit, like for good?
Get a thesaurus out here, please.
Dave, get some synonyms for good, please.
So this is the headline that was written, Tom, by our friends at Fox League, who I believe is owned by a man who may own the club. Broncos disaster could have crushed Kevy. Instead, has taken him to another level.
Okay.
So that's the term we've gone with. Thanks, Adam.
So Adam said another level?
Kevy's taken him to another level this offseason. Another level. Skipper Adam Reynolds told foxsports.com.au, against his will, that Walter's coaching has gone to another level over preseason.
Okay.
Now, that's also quite vague because another level, it's just a different level.
Well, it's just a different level.
It doesn't
what level
imply
were they at?
It doesn't imply that they didn't go down in a level.
No.
It's just another level.
It's just another level.
Like if I'm on level 4 of this building, I could go to level 3, I'm on another level.
That's a great point. It's one of those real ones where, like, maybe it's just crossing your fingers behind your back as well. Like, Kevy has never been better. Adam, why is your arm behind your back? Are you crossing your fingers right now? No, I'm not. Well, let me see your fucking hands. No. Another level. So he didn't say immensely improved?
No, he said another level. Okay. So they've gone to a different...
Dude, another level is as little as you can say as possible, right?
Yeah.
What did Paddy Carrigan say? I also really like Kevy Walters.
Paddy Carrigan said... What did Paddy Carrigan said? There's obviously a lot of pieces that go into footy clubs, and we play a big role in that as well, whether that be on the field or off the field. I reckon at times we haven't made it easy for the big fella, but we've got to wear that burden, and he wears part of that burden too as the coach. Kev's the man to do it. I love Kev. I've got a good relationship with him, and I want to win a comp here. So if Kev's in charge, then Kev's in charge, and that's the plan.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck, that doesn't sound great 2 weeks after the fact. No. So if Kev's in charge, then Kev's in charge. That's basically, that is the nicest way possible of saying it is what it is.
I want to win a comp, do you? Oh, you want to win a comp, do you?
I want to win a comp.
Right, okay.
And if I'm forced to do it with Kevy, then I guess I'll have to. Don't like our chances, but fuck it.
So
the Broncos are unfortunately going to be left out of our 8 teams if we do have a strike.
Yeah, I'm just like... I don't get a whole lot out of it. Like, obviously, I like watching them fucking wither and die, like from going from the top 4 to like whatever it was, 10th last year or 9th. One of the great shit shows, one of the great slides all time. Watching Kempy squirm and wriggle and try and deny his involvement was funny. But like,
I feel bad for him. I like Kevy.
At a certain point, it just gets a bit sad, you know. So I don't need.
I don't think that there was any necessity. Like, I mean, if they weren't coming out immediately and going that we love Kevy, like they're doing it 2 weeks later, you've kind of just dragged the story back up.
Yeah, and in unconvincing way.
It couldn't have been less convincing. It couldn't have been. Like, you could hear the fear in their voices of, you know, the fact that there was a man there with a pump action.
There was voices trembling through the page,
sawn off shotgun,
through
sort
the
of stuff.
words. Tom, yeah, Sean off soddies. Sawn off shotties.
Sawn off soddies.
Sawn off soddies. Sawn off shotties. So good luck to the Broncos this year. But I don't expect big things. I don't expect anything.
No.
Stephen Crichton, Tom, going to the Broncos.
Going to the Dogs. I got to go to the toilet. He's going to the Dogs. I'm going to the toilet. Yeah, Stephen Crichton to the Dogs. Cool. I like it. I like the Dogs.
Phil's
a weapon, dude.
Phil's a fucking. He's a serious bit of kit.
Yeah, he is. He's a serious bit of kit.
Also, he's like, for those people out there that don't think that he's fucking the main reason for the Panthers' success,
Oh,
like,
look, I mean,
in
not
terms
main
of-
reason, maybe like main reason for their like the fucking
For the
wealth
cattle.
of talent they've
That's
got.
what I'm talking about. But then it's funny that he's like, he gets kicked out, obviously, and then he goes, well, I'm just going to go take heaps of your players.
Yeah. Well, not only that, I'm going to take your assistant coach, who has a great relationship, who coached all the boys coming through.
I'm also going to take Kick Out. I'm also going to take Matt Burton. I'm also going to take fucking Stephen Crichton.
I'm also going to bring in Reid Marnie.
But like those big Panthers throbbers you got, taking them.
Yeah, take him.
That assistant coach that you love, taking him.
And they're looking at Spencer Leniu apparently. So
Have him as well.
take him too. Another junior. But cool. I like it. Good on you.
You'd be frothing.
And you know who else they got coming back next year? He of hot piss fame, Bronson Cherry.
BX.
Yeah, they signed him.
Did they?
Mm.
BX. Tell you what, you'd be touching yourself if you're a Dogs fan.
Yeah.
You'd be feeling yourself a lot.
Yeah,
If you're a
definitely.
Dogs fan.
Yeah.
Really getting off on yourself because things are looking up. You've had a fucking really lean trot, and things appear to be turning.
They do appear to be turning.
But
so congratulations.
listen, will you ever be Manly? No. So
Of course it won't be Manly. No one's Manly except Manly.
just remember that.
Oh, okay, this is big. Nicaragua Rugby League has posted a tweet saying they will not be sending any players to take the spot of NRL and NRLW players. They're standing with the strike.
Okay,
So shout out to
Nicaraguan Rugby
Nicaragua.
League.
Was that necessary?
Yeah.
Do we need that?
Did we need Nicaragua to confirm that for us? Or were we sort of like, thanks, Nicaragua, but no thanks?
Why did Nicaragua, hard word to say, why did they feel the need to, like were people knocking on their door? I could be wrong. They might
Are
have.
they part of the USA Rugby League?
It's not too far away.
Like, do they have something to do with it? Because if they don't,
Well, they're a rugby league nation in the Americas. Is that what this is about?
I guess you could say that. They're closer to America than we are. Maybe they're just trying to, distance themselves from their neighbors.
I mean, good for them. Like, I'm cool with that, of course, but like,
We stand with the RLPA. International support. Didn't think I'd hear that today, but there you go. Tom, is that rugby league?
I think it
Greatest
is.
game of all?
Yep. And as we always say, thanks to KO who bring us rugby league. If you plan on watching some preseason, then you best have KO because all preseason games available on KO exclusively. And then if you just enjoy rugby league generally and you want to see your fucking, like, if you want to watch the rugby league this year, basically if you don't have it, you see like 2% of all matches played.
If you don't have it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Grow up.
Grow up. If you don't have it, you're fucked. And
That's
it's as
that.
simple as that.
Now, Pup, Michael Clark.
Yep.
Um,
Our boy.
our boy Pup, bad boy puppy, sick puppy,
Sick puppy, bad puppy, naughty
bad puppy. We had to
Give
rub his,
that puppy a smack.
well, we had to rub his nose in his own urine
Yes.
last week. The nation.
Yes. Well, the nation did it collectively.
The nation hit him over the nose with a rolled up newspaper. Shouldn't do it. Should be the bum. Don't want to fuck their smell. But we hit him with a rolled up newspaper, rubbed his nose in the poo and the wee.
Yeah, and the poo.
And the poo.
And the wee.
And put him
Well, he'd made a real mess.
Put him in his kennel.
He'd made a real mess, and we needed to rub his nose in it. And then he had to go out the back to think about what he'd done.
Yep. He's back. He was on the Big Sports Breakfast today. Is today Monday? Yeah, I think today was his first day back.
Today is Monday, Tom.
They didn't really get into it, but there was something about like he's apparently just got like one of the great bruises all time. Like he's fucked his hammy. Like it was one of the great hammy injuries all time.
Have we got to the bottom of the cause? Was it King Carlos?
So they were like, it's a private matter. Obviously public, a lot of facts in play here. Clark's made his statement. But they asked him about his hamstring. Jared Middleton, who hosts the show, wanted to ask you, you showed us before that bruise on your hamstring. That's incredible. You won't be able to walk properly for weeks. Clark blew off the injury saying it was fine, that his focus was only on the show. Nah, it's fine. It's on the mend. I'm good to go. I'm ready. Game day. Good to go. Okay. Well, I was hoping you give us a bit more.
Doesn't sound convincing though. He said it's on the mend twice, and I'm good to go twice.
Yeah. Well, like he's not playing professionally, so fucking it doesn't really matter what's happened, right?
He'll still be able to suck
He
his dick on the
He
boat.
could. I'm sure, and I could be wrong here, but I'm sure, Tom, that he could sit in his seat and do radio with a fucked hammy.
You think he can?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he comfortably could. The thing I wanted to touch on here was that because Buzz Rothfield of Mayo Man fame, he's a contributor on the show. He'll call in every once a week or something. And him and Clarkie have butted heads over time. Clarkie, I've got some questions to ask you. Am I allowed to? Clark replied, I'll probably have no answers for you, but go for your life. Rothfield continued, well, how is Noosa? That's so funny.
God. That's good from Buzz. How was Noosa, Clarkie? Did you have a good time? Good weather?
Dude, I like that. How is Noosa? Fucking dog. I do think that I do. Obviously, it was it's an unfortunate scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was a naughty boy, allegedly. But I am also like, when you see all the sponsors bailing on him and people being like, well, you know, he might not commentate the cricket over in India and all this shit. I'm like, to me, I find that's the unfortunate side of this sort of shit. Like, it's not that big of a deal, and it's quite like, hey, let's fuck your life now, at least for the.
I don't think you should lose income for that.
No, not at all. But then I can also understand a brand being like, listen, probably don't want your face next to our face cream when you're going.
Oh, yeah, I know. But fuck, mate. It's like EA Sports, right? They fucked Tiger Woods off with that cheating shit. Now they've obviously come crawling back. Like, they would have had to pay him out the fucking ass.
Yeah, he wouldn't have come back lightly.
Or is it 2K, so it's not EA? Oh, so it's not. Is it 2K EA? No. So it's not. It's separate.
Right. So they've obviously changed whoever's making the game, though.
No, because 2K, who's the rival to EA, would have been like, oh, well,
but surely you wouldn't be allowed to, like, if EA Sports is still making a PGA game, you wouldn't be allowed to use the players in both. Surely the PGA would have an exclusive deal with one game maker. So maybe they've moved to 2K.
So the whole PGA, potentially.
No, so EA Sports EA Sports are putting out a PGA Tour game this year.
Interesting.
If it's not already out yet. The last one they put out was 2015, and that was a Rory McIlroy PGA Tour.
So how does that work?
Well, maybe they haven't got exclusive rights because the PGA would have to sell the rights to the game, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So they would be like, we're not selling it, just exclusively to you.
Interesting. Anyway.
Not even fucking sure how we got there. In fact, I have no idea whatsoever.
Clarkie.
Shout out to Clarkie, though. Shout out to Clarkie.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't listen.
Yeah.
I understand that maybe you don't want him selling your face cream and shit, but like, people bay for blood in the streets. They want him like hung, drawn, and quartered.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
It. I'm like,
It's
fuck
like,
off,
he's,
mate.
you know, he is who he is, but like, Jesus Christ, let's woo up a little bit before we just start trying to bet. Like, that was quite an embarrassing situation that he's found himself in. I don't know you need to ruin his life any further.
No, he'd be fucking drowning in a pool of anxiety over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, let's woo up.
And if you wanted to rip the income out of everyone that had cheated in their life, there'd be a fucking big line at Centrelink.
Yeah, there would. A lot of broke bitches out there.
Male and female.
Male, that's why, hey, bitches plural.
Well, bitches get stitches.
Bitches, not plural, but
Gender
plural.
neutral term.
Gender neutral. Thank you, David. Our official gender.
Police.
Gender police.
Yeah, gender police, yeah.
Is there a gender neutral term for bitches?
Or is our gender envoy? Is it an envoy?
What would you say? Instead of bitches. Who gets stitches?
That's snitches.
And bitches.
Well, bitches snitch. Sure. You know what, Eddie? You know what, man? It's been tough in Australian sport the last couple of days with Pup, the disturbing Kurtley Beale accusations.
But it got worse.
It got
worse. It got even
got
worse.
way worse, dude. Spag bowl
Australia's favourite meal, spaghetti bolognese.
and runner, coincidentally.
Who also
Middle distance.
runs by that name.
Yeah.
Who captivated a nation, who inspired the nation, who made an Olympic final but then won
Silver
at the Com Games.
Yeah.
Turns out he's been a bad boy.
Well, he's
Alleged.
Alleged.
His A sample, which usually infers the B sample, has
tested positive for EPO.
Yes.
And I believe that's when you remove blood and put blood back in, and it helps like
that is blood
doping. I think that's what
EPO is something. I thought EPO was like something that you
inject.
Yeah.
But I thought it was.
It says here EPO is a drug or a substance secreted in the kidney which stimulates red blood cell production in the bone marrow and is one of the most common performance-enhancing drugs in sport. So I think it's already a naturally occurring substance, but by putting more of it in, you get more red blood cell production.
So is that then? Is it? Do you take the blood out?
No, you're talking about what they do. What you're talking about is for like. Let's use Tour de France as an example. They take out your blood when it's super oxygenated. So if you're doing a tour over 21 days, like your blood becomes less and less oxygenated, and they fucking
Pump you with it, yeah.
This fucking great blood that they took out like weeks before, they fucking pump into you halfway through, and you just go out and rip and tear. Whereas EPO, I think, is like increasing red blood cell counts.
It increases. Well, the substance itself regulates the concentration of red blood cells and hemoglobin in the blood. So by adding more of it, you increase the concentration of it.
He's come out hard denying it as spag.
They all do.
Well, they do, but I don't know. For some reason, this one actually feels a little bit harder, if I can be honest.
Harder than that swimmer?
Shayna Jack?
Well,
she was saying she was hooking up with someone who was on the bags or something, wasn't she? Isn't that what she was saying?
The Shayna Jack one, like, if you watch the documentaries and shit on Shayna Jack, I watched one of them. I can't remember if it was like Australian Story or whatever it was. You leave it being like, fuck, that sounds, it's believable.
What Spag said here.
The problem for Spag is if that B sample comes back, it doesn't matter if you denied it. You can deny it all you want. You're fucked.
It is critically important to convey with the strongest conviction that I am innocent and have not taken this substance I am accused. As I'm accused. I asked that everyone in Australia believe me and let this process play out. When I found out last week the A sample from urine test taken on 11th of October had tested positive for synthetic EPO, I was in total shock. To be clear, I have never in my life purchased, researched, possessed, administered or used synthetic EPO or any prohibited substance. I voluntarily turned over my laptop, iPad and phone to Sport Integrity Australia to prove this. I've requested the analysis of my B sample, which will take place in February. Given the subjective nature of interpreting this kind of test, I've asked that the lab perform a secondary confirmation. Above all, I remain hopeful that the process will exonerate me. My career, hopes and dreams are literally hanging in the balance over the next few weeks, and I ask everyone to respect my privacy as I remain provisionally suspended. Please make all media inquiries to my manager, James.
Listen, if he's telling the truth, I feel fucking sorry for him. But they are ruthless motherfuckers, WADA and ASADA and all those cunts. If his B comes back positive, it doesn't matter that he handed over his phone and shit. Like, he's done.
No, it doesn't.
That B comes back positive, big trouble.
What are some of the comments people leave?
B sample is an opportunity for the athlete to witness their bottle being pulled from the freezer. Confirm it is their bottle with unique sample code and still sealed. Watch it open and then tested. B is predominantly used for the athlete to witness their sample being analysed.
There's a few more details from some other articles. Channel 7 spoke to some sports doctor who said that this substance has to be taken via injection, so there's kind of no way it would accidentally get into his
right. You can't
bloodstream.
accidentally have had it like
Oh, so it's
in
not
a
like
tainted supplement or something.
Yeah, he said that it's rare that if a positive A sample comes back that there's a negative B sample. But there was a case in 2003 when a Kenyan middle distance runner had a positive A sample and a negative B sample.
So it has happened before. That'll give him hope.
Not much.
Not much. Almost fuck all.
The
But
problem as well with all this is that, like, if your B sample comes back, then you've also just put out, like, one of the great bullshit statements of all time.
yeah.
You look even like an even bigger liar.
Well, listen. If Lance taught us anything, it's that when it comes to dope, and people can go to pretty fucking
Crazy lengths.
crazy lengths. And I'm not saying that that's Peter, but I'm just saying this isn't Lance territory yet, releasing a statement like that.
No.
Like, Lance was suing his masseuses and shit who came out against him. Like, literally ruining single mum like this one woman, she was a single mum, like ruined her life just to keep up the fucking
The ruse.
So,
okay.
statements.
So because it's a naturally occurring substance in the body, it's a bit difficult to test for like inflated levels. And there's 5 bands that it's tested across, and he was only elevated in just one of those bands. And this is another sports doctor who's been quoted in the Sydney Morning Herald. He said, someone with the last name Green, I can't find his first name, but based on my experience, that is a very close call for a positive test. We only have the summary sheet. We won't get the full lab results until the B sample, and that will be months. The B sample will not be opened until February 1st.
And that's what one of these questions on the comments here is, why isn't the B test done automatically when the initial test is positive? Why do you keep an athlete's name and credibility and get it dragged through the mud before ensuring it is actually positive and not a false positive? That's a good question. Interesting, though, that it was only raised in one of the 5 bands.
Very interesting that it was only raised in one of the 5
That
bands.
is very interesting, Edward.
You and I always
Well, considering what we know about,
bands.
bands generally.
Yeah.
Well,
You're in a band.
I was in a band, a drummer. Shout out to Drifts. Available on Spotify. Go listen.
If anyone can run an eye over the bands, Tom, it's probably you.
Yeah, Battle of the Bands.
Battle of the Bands. Listen, Peter Bowl. Hopefully the Spag Bowl's not off, Tom, because the nation loves it.
Yep.
But if it so happens that B comes back as dirty as the A, I think it's time to pack it up.
Yeah, become a coach.
Could you coach? You probably can't coach for fucking however long
probably a good
the
point.
suspension is.
That's true. That's true. Well, I hope for Spag's sake that it's all just a big old mistake.
A misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding.
Look, for Spag's sake, I hope that's the case, because he's become quite a character, and athletics in this country relies on characters, Tom. Otherwise, Rowan's about there trucking nut by himself.
Yeah. It's Rowan and Spag at the fucking coalface.
For runners, obviously we've got one of the great jumpers all time, Brandon Stark.
Of course.
Talking about running here, punters and dribblers. Anyway, we'll keep you informed. Obviously, we're all over this.
Yeah.
Bands, no bands.
Lap bands. Yeah. Did you watch any of the UFC yesterday, though, buddy?
No.
I only watched the two mains. But Glover Teixeira, who's in the main card title fight, it was one of the most brutal fucking, like, a guy who's like too tough for his own good, 43 years old, former champion, like a legend of the sport, but he just got fucked.
Is he still fighting?
Well, he just retired after the fight. He got fucked up by Jamal Hill. It was for the vacant light heavyweight title. It was brutal. It almost got stopped probably 2 or 3 times across 5 rounds. Like, it went the distance. Glover's face at the end of it was fucking mashed.
How many significant? 232 significant strikes landed.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
to his 75 that he landed.
Imagine getting hit 232 times.
Dude, head kick city as well. He was getting booted in the fucking head and just like he'd start to wobble, but then just managed to. I'm just going to try and find a photo of. Well, look, that's a photo of him walking out of the ring, but he's been cleaned up.
He landed, Jamal Hill, 57.7% of his significant strikes. He
Check
landed.
this shit. That's him the day after.
Oh my God. What a tough cunt.
Yeah.
Look at that cut on his eye.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's disgusting. Give that a rest.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, cunt.
No, thanks. I'll send that to you, Tobler. You can put it in for all of the punters and dribblers. Anyway, that was cool, though. It was good card, good biffs. Brandon Moreno, 4th fight with Figueiredo. Fucking fucked him up so bad. The guy's eye couldn't open that to stop the fight.
They like fighting each other again and again in the flies, don't they?
Yeah, well, he's now the Figueiredo who lost was like, I'm not fighting you a 5th time, and I just lost. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go up to the fucking bantamweight. Anyway, I think we should dribble. What do you reckon?
Let's do it.
All right, time to do some dribbles. Before we do punters and dribblers, the number to call, save it in your contacts so that you never forget it, Dave. The number is
8123-2100.
chuck an 02 on the front if you're feeling flirty.
Feeling free to put an 0-2 in.
Let's get into it.
G'day, boys. Anonymous Dribbler here. Quick shout-out to Bonobos of matriarchal fame. Australian Open is back, devastating about King Queerish. Just having a gander at some of the different outfits being rocked across the courts. Now I'm looking at a guy called Wolf from the USA, and it's a very aggressive singlet, like an athletic singlet. So I'm no use to play a bit of tennis, but if you had to, both of you had to play in the Open right now, what's your kit of choice? You know, we're just going hat forwards, hat backwards, singlet. Let me know. Thanks, boys.
Look, I don't think I'm a singlet guy, and I'm certainly not a Nadal 3/4 pants operator.
But you used to drum in singlets. So
I
like
don't mind a singlet, but it's more about like exposure to sun now. I want to be sun smart. And if I'm in a singlet, I've got to wear more sunscreen. Hat, yes. But the hat, as versatile as it is it's going to float between being backwards and forwards depending on which end of the court I'm at.
Would you go for the old Agassi pirate look?
Isn't like get a wig?
Well, this is pre-wig. When he had fucking big hair with like a mullet.
That was a
and-
wig.
Was it a wig the whole
That was a-
time?
that was
I
a
thought
wig.
it was the toupee after that.
No, that was a wig.
Oh, that was a wig.
Yeah, and he was always worried it was going to fucking come off.
Well, he actually lost a French Open final because he thought his toupee came unstuck, and he was so concerned about it the whole time. Imagine if his toupee came off mid-fucking match.
Well, it'd be one of the most famous moments in sporting
You know how he
history.
had the big fucking earrings and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Would you go for that?
I'm not a big earring guy, so probably not. But what about you?
Don't know. I'd be going for comfort above all.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
something that fucking breathes. I wouldn't play in a singlet. Me and
No.
singlets aren't like the best of fucking friends.
No.
I don't understand how Nadal played in 3/4 pants because you need your knees to move. I always found that pretty fucking strange. If I had to pick a sponsor, Tom, it'd be Nike
Yep.
or Lacoste. I don't mind Lacoste.
Yeah, Lacoste's okay. I'm probably more of a Nike operator.
I'd be Nike for sure. That'd be fucking.
Babolat racket. That's only because that's what I had when I was little. I don't know what the
Well,
racket
Nadal had a Babolat, so I'd probably want a Babolat too, Tom. I always thought Babolats were pretty cool.
game's like. Yep.
Mate, just give me options and I'd pick. Wouldn't be too fucking loud, too proud. I'd be
Nah, it'd be pretty straight up and down, I think.
yeah,
Draw attention. Let your tennis do the talking.
but with a bit of flair,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Let's move on.
I just want to leave this dribble regarding an apology I owe to Hudson Young. I live in Port Macquarie, and me and my partner were down at Townie, which is our local beach, and there was this fellow and his wife laying on the beach, and the guy was wearing a pair of Canberra Raiders thick stickers. And my partner said, do you think he's a rugby league player? I'm sure he is. He looks pretty familiar. And I said, no way. not a chance. He's too small. He's not big enough to be a rugby league player. Sure enough, as the afternoon went on, they got up and left, and as they got closer, it was Hudson Young. So I'd just like to unreservedly apologise to Hudson. He must have lost some weight during pre-season, man. Yeah, my apologies.
It's what accountability looks like, Tom.
Yep.
It's about holding yourself accountable for your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Put
That's how you stay great.
That's how you stay great. That's how you stay on the top. You put your hand up, you acknowledge that you fucked up, and you go again.
I will say it's also a backhanded sort of, well, it's not a compliment in any way to Hudson, but it's like I'm doing a good thing by keeping myself accountable, and I'm shitting on Hudson Young at the same time.
Yeah, because
he doesn't look big enough, apparently.
He doesn't look big enough at all. Your lack of size deceived me, but I will acknowledge that your lack of size deceived me.
And that you are indeed a rugby league player, but you don't look like one, according to me.
Yes.
Now, we personally don't feel that way about Hudson Young. I haven't seen Huddy in the flesh.
No, I haven't.
He's a specimen.
I haven't eyeballed Huddy in the flesh, Tom.
But if you were to peruse his Instagram, I'm sure there'd be some shirtless pics. Huddy a spec.
Huddy a big spec.
Oh, he's a spec, dude. He's asbestos.
Not a, yeah, well, the good type of asbestos, you know what I mean? But also potentially the bad, because he could be a bad boy, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. But congratulations to her for her accountability. That's important.
It is important. Shout out to Dribbles everywhere.
G'day, punters and dribblers. It's Hotline on the Forearm Dribbler here. Just in regards to the old pig snout chat from the other last week. Just as a man who loves staring at teammates cocking the show after the game of footy, probably one of my favourite pastimes. Just I played with a bloke a few years back who actually did have a pig snout on him and clearly didn't have it corrected. When he first sent a photo of it to the group chat, no one really knew what the fuck they were looking at until, he sent a sort of wider shot. We could see it was the top of the dick. But, yeah, it's truly something to behold seeing it. Very different. But, I'm assuming if you had one of those, you'd get it out quite a bit because I'm trying to think of a party trick that pops up. So, keep snouts forever. Cheers, boys.
Yeah, it's funny. We did have a guy DM us who will remain nameless as much because I can't remember his name as anything else, but also I wouldn't put a man's business in the streets like that. And he had a pig snout pee hole. He's like, I'm one of those people.
So they're out there.
They're out there.
They are out
They
there.
are out there. There are a few pig snouts out there. This guy was one. He was offering to send us photos, and I was like, no. Or maybe I said, can you prove it? And he's like, do you really want me to send a photo? And then I went, no, I actually don't. Because, I don't, I just...
Well, listen, Tom, you don't... Where does looking at a pig snout get you?
Well, just to know they're true, mate. Like, if someone said aliens exist...
Yeah, but we've already proved it medically.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that was more like a flute dick than anything else.
It's interesting.
That was a bong shotty dick as opposed to a pig snout.
Yeah, that's true. That was a shoddy dick. It's interesting because, we've gone... Are there anyone out there with pig snouts? Answer's yes. Tails as well came in, surprisingly.
Well, so now you're saying, are there any aliens out there? Should we start asking for aliens to reach out?
Well, fuck it, why not?
Why not?
We're 2 from 2.
Yeah, we are.
You know what I mean?
If you're an alien, reach out.
Reach out.
Yeah, g'day, lads.
G'day.
Love the potty.
Thanks,
Listen
bro.
all the time.
Good.
I'm going to keep it short. I've got a question for you. All right. Would you prefer, just listening to, I fucking forget the name of it, one of your more recent podcasts, one where you're talking about all the piercings and stuff like that, and I think you're talking about a Prince Arthur or Prince something this or that, what goes in the end of your cock.
Prince Alfred.
Would you prefer to have one of them done to you and you have to wear it for, let's say, 3 months, or watch Parramatta win the grand final?
Bro,
Let me know what your thoughts are. Cheers, boys. Fuck Para, Penrith forever. Let's go.
Definitely fuck para. There's not many things that I hold above my disdain for your Parramatters of the world or your Dragons of the world, but penile health is one that that does take precedence.
Listen, this may not shock people, but I'm penis first.
Yeah, I'm penile well-being first.
I'm penile well-being
It's
first.
of the utmost importance.
Absolutely. My penis comes above almost all else.
Yeah.
And Ella knows that. We're on the same
Dude,
page.
if you were to
It's
have
penis first.
if you were to have a sick dick,
Yep.
that would consume your life.
Yeah, it would.
Until that dick is no longer sick. Now, that could be sickness. There are many different dick sicknesses.
Yep.
Could be an injury. It
Yep.
could be, a disease of some sort.
Yes.
It
Could be self-mutilation.
It could have a runny nose.
Yeah, it could be.
Who knows?
Might have a
Pilot.com.au is
cold.
where you'd go, but
Could have a cough.
/Hello Sport. But I put penile health above Parramatta premierships. Don't worry about that. It's,
Every day of the week.
I'll sit there and watch Parramatta win the comp if it means that my dick has a clean bill of health.
Yes. A healthy penis is
Key to all.
yes.
You know.
So you know how they say like happy wife, happy life?
Yeah.
It's like happy dick, happy man.
Yeah. Healthy dick, happy man.
Yeah, dick. Your penis is everything, and I'm talking to men here. Your penis is everything. So look after it, take care of it.
Yeah, love it.
Love it. You know,
Treat it right.
Treat it right. Treat it like the king it is. You know?
That's it.
But that doesn't stop me saying fuck Parramatta, but under no circumstances would I trade penis health for Parramatta glory.
No.
All right,
Good
last
question.
one.
That was a good question. That's one that makes you think.
It
It
does.
gets to the heart of the issue, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
What matters most?
Penises.
What up, what up? Here he is, the Nostradamus dribbler. Just walking home from Quality Hotel, just want you guys to know that I am the person who can predict a dribbler regardless what they're wearing. People come up in the line and I can see that they're fucking some sort of cunt who's been bullied in high school, has got a gambling problem, and I can tell there's a bit of good chat behind their ears. And I've called a bunch of blokes out before and they've just said, how the fuck did you know that I'm a dribbler? And I just looked at them and I said, mate, it's in your eyes. You look like the sort of person who idolises a couple of fuckwits. And I do too, you know, I can't blame them. But we're on this boat together. We're not alphas, none of us. But we're all in this together, you know. So I appreciate it. I love you guys. Peace. Nostradamus.
Look, I like to think that some of you are alphas. I don't think there's many of you.
No, I don't think so.
Because we're not alphas though either. So it's like, you know, if you're...
He was right with idolising a couple of fuckwits.
Yeah,
he got that
I
right.
know, he nailed that.
Yeah, he did. He got us right between the eyes.
Yeah, no, that was fair.
It was fair. It was completely above board. How many alphas are amongst us? The walk amongst us? Very few, I would say.
Yeah, look, probably the ones that skew athlete. You know, isn't if you're currently an athlete that we know.
Well, we know there's throbbers that follow us.
There's throbbers that follow us. If you're an athlete, you're probably an alpha. Not always, but mostly.
Not always.
But not always. And if you're not an athlete, doesn't mean you're a beta, but probably. Physically speaking.
No, yeah. I mean, just because you're not an alpha doesn't mean you're a beta either.
No, that's also a great point. That's actually a very important distinction.
It's a very just because you're not an alpha doesn't mean you're a beta or a gamma. Or
No.
whatever.
You maybe don't sit on the.
You're just not on the scale.
Yeah.
Which would be most of you.
Yeah. That's a good point to make.
But I would say that more betas would follow us than alphas.
That would also be correct.
So shout out to the betas out there.
Yeah.
Because you're the fucking beating heart of the podcast.
Is that us?
Yep.
All right, punters and dribblers. Rose Cord hats back on sale soon. Maybe a couple of bots. A big day left. Last of the summer. Is that it? Is that us? Is that it? Is that us?
That's us. hellosport.shop if you'd forgotten. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Could you two just not talk anymore?